Perfect. Well, welcome everyone to tonight's team huddle. Super excited with our topic tonight because I have been talking to people about it one-on-one this past week. So it kind of stems out of our call that we did last week when we had like an open mic night, and there were a lot of questions that people had and just, things like that, loose ends they needed to tie up. So, and so then as a result of that, I've just been talking with some people one-on-one and just kind of clarifying some stuff. So I went into our website and tightened some things up. So I'm going to share the screen. And what this has to do with basically is how do you close out like the one-sheeter. So let me share the screen with everyone and tell you. So one thing before we get into this, I want to say, when you're doing other events, like when you're doing like Facebook events or like a healthy happy hour, and these names are all going in a funnel. Like basically the whole purpose of doing a Facebook event is so you can get you can start making relationships with people. So like the whole purpose, even though on the surface it looks like, oh, here's our skincare, here's our nutrition, like really the number one purpose is to find more people, potential business partner, and then to have people host, and then to sell product, because we know product's going to sell if one and two happens. Does that make sense to everyone so far? And so when you have these people in your funnel, you put them in your tracker, and the goal is always, the question you want to ask yourself is, have they heard the whole Arbonne story, which would be the one-sheeter. So even if they've seen a Facebook event, they haven't seen the whole story. Like even if you did your iStory in a separate, live, and then you did the live on like the 6 product packages that you're doing, they really haven't seen the full Arbonne story. So like really like it was just an exposure. And so they say it takes 2 to 3 exposures to make a decision on the product. So that's why like sometimes you'll have people who do a Facebook event and they'll order product. Like that's really lucky, but a lot of times you have to kind of go back and forth, send them a video on something. So 2 to 3 exposures to make a decision on the product. And then it's like 5 to 15 to 100 exposures to make a decision on the business. So does that make sense when I say that, as far as like the exposures? Mm-hmm. Okay. So then if all of that is true, what I find that I do sometimes is when I am doing the one-sheeter, or I'm going to say the one-pager, because sometimes people with an accent say one-sheeter and it sounds bad. So we're going to just officially all agree to call it the one-pager. But like whenever I do a one-pager, I could fill my days doing one-pagers with people. And like, but if I don't go into it before that meeting, like literally I do this little exercise and like center myself beforehand, like just so I'm not like appearing all frazzled. I take a deep breath and I just think about what my intention is. And my intention always for a one-sheeter is this: one, to get someone interested enough in the business to get on product and to host. So like that is always my intention, because let's face it, we're not going to have someone who like sees the one-sheeter and says, I'm in. I mean, occasionally you do, but what I find is that when you have those people, it's easy come, easy go. Like if they're that quick to like be like, hey, I'm in, I'm all in, and even if so, I'm going to show you what to say in these situations. So, so again, the whole purpose is you want to find someone who you want to get them interested enough in the business, because you're not going to like seal the deal and be like, let's get going. I mean, sometimes you will, but again, normally you don't. Get them interested enough in the business, and then get them on the product and hosting, like before that phone call is over. So I'm going to show you how we do that. So does that make sense so far before I move on with everyone? And does that sound like something you'd want to know, like how to do that? Yes? Okay. Yeah. So if you go into our website, you go under team resources and you see getting into activity, you're going to see, this is what it's going to look like right here. Like you'll see one-pager, and then you click on that, and then you're going to see all of this right here. And so then when you click on that, you're going to see the talking points. Y'all, I'm going to close my door because my family is so loud. Hang on. They're having too much fun in the kitchen. Hang on. Hey, y'all, I'm running a multi-million-dollar business in here. Okay. Okay. So So then we go to talking points. So here are the talking points. And so like the whole one sheeter is outlined. And I mean, you're gonna be like, wow, that sounds like Andrea, right? Because I literally just wrote like what I say in this. So you're like free to like make it your own, but these, I just figured I'd give you talking points, like not a script, but talking points. Okay, so when you get to the end, the close is right here. So I wanna show you something. So like we all know that, I've said this like before, when I finish, and I did this today with a guy that my husband worked with like years ago. Like he actually, like we haven't seen him in 20 years. And so he was a reporter for years and now he's living in Arizona. And I would just love to build a team in Arizona, so that's why we were on the phone. And so when I was done, I asked the question, so I have to ask, did you learn anything about Arbonne? And he's like, actually, I did. I didn't realize that they had this, that, and the other. So then I said, well, I have to ask, like, would you ever consider doing something like this? And he's like, maybe, and so, and I was like, well, what about your wife? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, let me, so basically what you do is like, I have a thing for each time and they're very similar. But again, remember the whole goal is get someone interested enough in the business, whether they say yes or no, you want them to get on the product and host for you. Okay. So if they say yes, and I have like a little visual here. So like, people are going to say yes, maybe, or no. Like those are the three things that's at the bottom of this. But if you need some talking points to go over, I just say, if they say, have you ever considered doing something like this? Yes. Great. Let's go ahead and get you signed up as a consultant and get you on the products. You'll get 35 to 50% discount and 90 days to return anything. Then let's pick a date to see where you can host your own Facebook event or healthy happy hour. That way you can see it all in action and we can get you going from there. Sound like a plan? So a lot of times what happens when someone says yes, that they're interested in doing the business, because again, this might be the 5th exposure and then they say yes, so that can happen. But they're like, great, we have a getting started training, on Monday nights. I'm going to have you watch the video. We're going to get you your tracker. And then what happens when the person doesn't call you back in 5 days? Because they might be overwhelmed, or they just might just be flaky anyway, or whatever the reason is. You didn't even end up with an order or getting in front of their network, right? Like, has that ever happened to anyone? Anyone? Paris? Okay. So if that happens to you, you might want to like flip your thinking. Like I think of it like this. Like I know we always talk about this as like the relationship thing, like, with dating, like you're not going to like on the first date be like, will you marry me? So just like with this, I think about it like being like, just like playing it cool. Like again, like they already told you yes. Just because you send them the tracker doesn't mean that they've sealed the deal. Like, like just because you've told them about the getting started training doesn't mean that they're really doing the business, right? What does it really mean that they're doing the business is that if you're getting in front of their network, quite honestly, right? So again, like here, yes, they said yes to you, but instead of getting like so excited and like bombarding them with all this information, just be like, hey, why don't we go ahead and get you on the product? I'll send you a recommended cart. And then let's go ahead and pick a date for your healthy happy hour or your Facebook event. And then that way you can see it in action, and then we'll get you started from there. So does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So if their answer is maybe, which happens a lot, they're like, I don't know, maybe I've thought about doing something like this. Great. How about we do this? Let's get you trying some of the products first. You have 90 days to return anything. The best deal is to become a preferred client. That will get you 20 to 40% discount, free shipping, and a free product. I can send you a recommended cart and you can make any changes. Are you leaning more towards the skincare or nutrition? Skincare, nutrition, like whatever their answer, both. Awesome. You will love it. Also, since you're curious about the business, I recommend hosting a Facebook event or a healthy happy hour. That way you can see it in action. We can always upgrade you from there if you decide to move forward with the business side of Arbonne. Sound like a plan? Yes. Also, if we schedule it today, I can send you a code and you can get an even bigger discount, products at cost. How does that sound? So again, like you might not like talk like me, so make it your own, but you see the points here. Does that make sense? Like, so you're moving people into, because what I'm finding is that like after my one sheeter, it's just like, okay, have a great night. I'll send you some videos. Send them a curiosity packet. Send me your address. And then like nothing happened. Like then it slows it down, right? But like you're closing it, like you're moving them into a category. Okay. So then if they say no, you say, no worries. I totally get that this business isn't a fit for everyone. What I like to say is not everyone likes to work part-time and make a six-figure income. I get it. But I would still like to get you on the products. You have 90 days to return anything. The best deal is to become a preferred client. That way you will get a 20 to 40% discount, free shipping, and a free product. I can send you a recommended cart and you can make any changes. Are you leaning more towards the skincare or nutrition? Wait for them to answer. Awesome. You will love it. Also, I grow my business by meeting new people. Would you consider hosting a Facebook event or healthy happy hour? If we schedule something today, I can send you a code and you will get an even bigger discount. Products at cost. How does that sound? And so like, it's just kind of like written out in bullet points here, just if you're a more visual person and you need to see kind of like how it's going. And this isn't something you need to have memorized. Don't worry. Just know that like the more you do it, the better you're going to get. But like, just know that like your goal is to move them. Like, so your goal is you want them interested enough in the business, but like if they're using the product, that's going to be an exposure 2 times a day, at least if they're washing their face and brushing their teeth. 2 times a day, they're going to have an exposure with Arbonne. And then if you host, you're getting into their network. So whether they do the business or not, you've just gotten into their immediate network, which sometimes isn't that as far as we get with new consultants before they quit. So it's like you're not out of anything and like you're turning this into something. Does that make sense? Okay, does anyone have any questions about that? Or just situations?
I have a
Rob, I
question
know
that
that you
happened.
can do this.
Oh, I have something that happened today. So
Yeah.
what do you do / how do you close if some your prospect like has to get off the call and you haven't had a chance to ask those questions yet? And you're like, dang it.
So this is the thing. That's a good question. So I always find out at the beginning of the call, I always say, hey, how much time do you have? And so, and actually Lauren Rose, you're on right now. I got your voice message, by the way. She said her call lasted an hour. She's like, not the presentation, but like they're catching up. Here's the thing. I don't care if you haven't seen this person in 20 years, 30 years, 10 years, 5 years, whatever. You catch up, you'd be like, hey, how's it going? You catch up with them. What have you been up to? I love catching up with you on Facebook. Let them talk, let them talk, let them talk. And when they say, what's been going on with you? You go into your iStory. And then you like say, thanks so much for, I'd really love to show you this. Would you mind if like I show you? Like you like, there's a reason why you're on the call. People don't have time to chat all day. And if this takes an hour to do, and not that yours did, Gabby, but I'm just saying that like sometimes this happens. If this takes an hour to do, people are going to be like, well, I mean, I don't have time to do this business. Like if you were intentional in your call, like in your reach out to them, they know why they're on the call. Like they know why they're on. So yes, there's some catch up to be polite and to build that relationship, but you're not like, you don't want them to be like, I'm looking to make my best friend right now. I need to know everything about you. And then we're gonna make bracelets, like you're gonna like do that like so quickly. And that's a hard skill to learn, because believe me, I did that all the time because I love talking to people and like getting to know them and catching up and all of that thing. But like, that's why it's key to say, hey, how much time do you have? And then if they're like, oh, 20 minutes, then in your mind, like, okay, I got to get this going. They're like, oh, I mean, I have like 30 minutes, or, you can gauge it. But the most important thing is to get to the question. So did you finish the presentation just without getting to the question? So you got all the way to the end.
Yeah, we got all the way to the end, and then her sister got home and she was like, oh, come say hey, because I know her sister too. And then like they were like together chatting and they're like, we have to go. And I was like,
I know. And I mean, and sometimes like that happens where like something happens and they have to go, oh my gosh, the school's calling and I gotta go. Someone's sick, So like things like that have happened before, but it's almost like I would like say, hey, I wanted, so glad we got a chance to catch up. There's a couple more things I wanted to run by you. Do you have some time to FaceTime? You don't even need the sheet. And then I would recap like the ending of your presentation, just be like, a lot of times I'm talking with people saying, this is a kind of business that can give you, help ends meet kind of money or replace an income kind of money, and I have plenty of people who jump on board wanting to make ends meet, but I'm looking to sign up 3 people to be my next aces who want to make, unlimited income. Do you know of someone like I mean, like speak whatever your intention is, like that might not be your intention right now, but and ask them that. And so but I would recap to kind of get their brain in that groove, like maybe from the 4 points on, or just, saying hey, I was showing you like the ranges of income in this, and, I've got to ask, is this something you'd ever consider doing? Because that is the presentation. Like it's almost like, again, like how we say the Facebook party is like, it's not really about the selling the products and everything else. It's just about like funneling people. It's the same thing, like reading all of that stuff on the one sheeter, all nice and fine. But the number one thing that has to happen is the question, would you consider doing something like this? And then like not saying anything. And that's the hardest part for me, because I'm gonna be like, because I mean, I know you're busy. I know you just had a baby. Like, I know, you don't want to do this. Never mind, forget it. Let's just get off the phone. So like, you just want to just see what they say, because like, you'll always be surprised, with what they say. Robbie, I was gonna call you out because I know that we talked about this on Friday, you and Kristen. Have you seen, like, I know you had one, but like, have you had a couple, like, were you able to like use this?
Yeah, I actually did a one pager last night and this morning. And the one last night, she still was kind of hemming and hawing, but I went ahead and did the ask for the Facebook party and explained to her, that's how I expand my network. So we'll see. And then this morning I did the whole, let me send you a recommended card, because she was excited about the business. She's interested in being a consultant. And she said, well, let me talk to my husband. So I was like, what, but she has been texting me throughout the day and asking me questions about products. So I think she's good to go.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And so like that's the thing, like having this recommended cart thing is awesome. It just makes it such an easy ask to get people on the product, and again, think of it this way. You're the consultant. This is your meeting that you asked for. You're in the driver's seat. So that's why we're using words about like, what I recommend is, or how about we do this? You're leading them to an answer, like you're consulting them, so of course, if they say no, you still want them to get on the product, and then like go ahead and get that order and get a date, if that makes sense, because a lot of times they can say the date and then they can like pull that back, but like go ahead and get the order and then get the date. And then when you tell them like, hey, I'll go ahead and make a recommended card for you, you can make any changes, and then you tell them about the Facebook party or healthy happy hour. And then, you say, if we do this, if we go ahead and get a date right now, I can send you a code that will give you products at cost. How does that sound? And they're like, yeah, and then you're like, awesome, let's go ahead and get a date. And then you're getting a date before you get off. And it's never going to work out perfectly. Like there's going to be situations, but like the more you do it, the better you're going to become at leading a person to an answer. And whether the answer is yes or no, it's fine. You just need to know so you can color code them in your tracker and move on. Does that make sense? And then like because here's the difference. Again, I was talking with someone earlier today about this. We are fishing. We're not hunting. And I know that we use that example a lot about like, sometimes fishing is just like casually going like this. Hunting is like you've got someone. When you're hunting, you're so desperate and dependent on that kill right in front of you. Like oh my gosh, she's going to make or break my business. Like she has to join my team. Oh my gosh, she doesn't join. If you're fishing, you don't really care what fish bites, like you're just like out there, like enjoying the process fishing. Does that make sense? And so like loosen up a bit when you're talking to people, because if you're doing your 5 and 5, if you're reaching out to 5 new people a day and you're following up with 5 new people a day, then your attitude is you're fishing. Like you're just like, oh, take it or leave it. You want to go back to your job? awesome. I'll be going to the gym. Like, I mean, like you just like have a more casual approach, which is attractive. Okay, I see some. Polly. Polly, did you raise your hand?
I did. I thought I would be proper and raise my hand. Not that we ever do, but I think it's also important to say that, the whole thing about the reason most people say they don't do something like this is because they were never asked. And so if you're at all nervous about asking the question, there's two ways I look at that. One is that, hey, if I don't ask, I don't know. And if I don't ask, they don't know. But the other thing is, for me, it's very helpful to come from it like, it's about them. I am serving. So if I can say, what was interesting to you? Where do you see yourself? Or I can ask that question, right? Then it is like Andrew said, the hardest part is being quiet and listening, because it is not about you. And if you can remember that, like that helps me tremendously in this business, that even just with reach outs, it is not about me. If I don't offer this, I can't help somebody. If I don't ask them, I can't, then I can't help somebody, right? If Andrea never said to me, if she had only offered me this product and never said, hey, by the way, there's a business opportunity. Oh my gosh, I shudder to think what would have, the difference in my life is so rich in so many ways, not just monetarily, but mostly in people and community and all the joy that I get from this business. So
and our daily phone calls.
And what?
I said, and our daily phone calls.
While she's in the showering together. But not really. If you're new, we don't shower together. We're not like but no, think about it. So like, that's the other piece to remember when you go through that. If you don't ask, if you don't have that way, and like she said, we're the consultant, but we're also just guiding. Just like if you go somewhere shopping and you're not sure about not that anybody here is going to go shop for cosmetics anywhere else, but if you were and you didn't know what colors or whatever, they're going to help you with that, and we are helping. So you have to have that mindset around this. So it's very important to remember those things.
And one thing here, I noticed that, was it Christiana who asked about what evening products that cost? I say that because I feel funny about saying, give you my discount, because then I feel like they're going to always be like, well, why aren't you always giving my discount? We're friends, aren't we? Like I just feel funny about like saying, you'll get my discount, so I just say, like, I make it seem like this is an Arbonne thing. Like if we go ahead and get a date, I can send you a code today. Like basically like that unlocks sending them the code, and that'll enable you to get products at cost. It just sounds better, I think. And again, that's just a personal thing for me, is I just feel funny saying, you'll get my discount. Cause then again, I just feel like they're going to be like, well, why am I not always getting it? I thought we were BFFs. Anyone else about that? Like, does anyone find that helpful about like moving people to an answer? Because again, I think of it like this. I know I always relate everything to workout. You think that I was like the buffest person in the world because I always use this as an example. But like, I think about it as working out. Like when you do like yoga, like Robbie is a yoga instructor, like you can really engage the muscles when you're working out, or you can work out and not engage the muscles. If you don't, like if I were just to do like bicep curls like this, just talking and hanging out and doing this, like I'm really not going to see a difference. But if I'm like really like engaging my muscle, like I'm going to see a difference. And it's the same thing like with this, like being intentional about like, I could do the one sheeter all day long and like connect with people and think I'm busy in my Arbonne business, and I would be busy. Like it would take up a lot of time, but my batting average needs to go up. Like, so I need to know that every time I'm talking to someone, I'm closing them. I'm getting them to get on the products and to host and looking at the business. Does that make sense? So, because like a lot of times, again, what happens is people get excited about the business and the possibility, and then they go away, and then they're just hanging. They're color coded in my tracker as interested in the business, and I can't ever get them back. but if I can get them on the product and get them to do that, I'm at least getting in front of their network. They are seeing it in action. They are going to fall in love with the products. I mean, all of those things are going to work towards getting into the business. So I hope that was helpful. That's already updated on our website. I'm sure there's tons of typos and grammatical errors in there because I was like doing it so fast today, but you don't have to say it word for word. Like the idea is just to practice and maybe like partner up with someone on this call, like choose a partner and y'all role play with each other this week and just be like, okay, say a maybe, okay, say no, or do it in real life. Like book more one pagers and like you're just going to get better at it. Like you can't really mess up at this. You can always go back, like just like Gabby didn't get to ask that question. Well, it's not like she messed up and like she blew her chance. She just goes like she's just adding another step in there, but from that step something bigger might even happen. So there's no like mistakes that you can ever really make in this business. You're just going and like building the relationship with everyone, if that makes sense. Well, that is it, y'all. I just wanted to keep it simple and just like kind of to the point, and I hope that was helpful for everyone. I hope everyone who's going to the retreat is on that group me. If you are, bless you, Ellie, if you are a district manager and up, we also have a chat that we're going to be going to, just so we're all like, basically what that is so we have a call. So at the beginning of the month, we have a call that's open to everyone 30 minutes before our team call, which is a planning call. And we want everyone on that just because we want everyone's ideas. And then the rest, the 3 other Mondays before our team call, we have a leaders call where we're just going through training topics or just like if like things come up with the website or if like an idea or whatever, like instead of like, because what happens a lot of times is we're messaging each other and then it gets like distracting and then it takes you off of like what you're doing and then it's just like, or they get an answer like way later, like it's just like putting it in the group chat, hey, I want to put this on the agenda for our 30 minutes we have, and then that way we can like just be using our time better. And hey, we'll see how that works for a while. All right, y'all. Well, everyone have a great night and a fantastic week. Next week, Yin, Polly, and myself are going to be at Green Bay. Gabby is going to be leading this call. She's going to be listening in on the trainings at Green Bay. And so you're going to get to hear from like some pearls of wisdom that we're going to be getting there at that retreat. So you definitely want to tune in next Monday night. So you all have a great week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.